A narcissist fears one thing above all: losing control. The most devastating blow you can deliver is to show them they never had it. They thrive on attention and emotional chaos, draining your energy until you question your own reality. But the truth is, you don't need to argue or seek revenge. Reclaim the power over your own mind. Today, you'll learn 7 Stoic strategies to render them powerless, not through fighting or shouting, but by becoming unshakable from within. Are you ready to see what that looks like? First, starve them of attention. Narcissists feed on your reactions, craving both praise and conflict. The more you react, the stronger they become. Stoic philosophers knew that what you ignore loses its grip. I learned this dealing with someone who constantly sought drama. Every insult, every jab was a trap. When I stopped responding, their game collapsed. Silence unnerves them more than any outburst. Marcus Aurelius said, "A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep." Ask yourself, what happens when you stop feeding their need for attention? Second, set boundaries they can't cross. Narcissists despise limits because they strip away their control. I recall a colleague who ignored every boundary: late calls, last-minute demands. At first, I explained my refusals, trying to justify myself. That only fueled their pressure. Then I stopped explaining, just said no, and stood firm. The tension was real, but everything shifted. Epictetus taught that you control your mind, not external events. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors you choose to lock. When was the last time you closed a door without apology? Third, embody Stoic calm. Narcissists feed on your reactions, pushing until fear makes you pliable. I once faced a manager who thrived on confrontation. One day, I chose not to engage. He shouted. I stayed composed, speaking slowly, detached from emotion. The shift was immediate. He lost momentum because I gave him nothing to cling to. Seneca said, "The wise man is content with his lot." Calm isn't weakness, it's strength disguised. What happens when you meet chaos with silence? Fourth, refuse to justify yourself. Narcissists want you on the defensive, forcing you to explain every choice so they can twist your words. I learned this from a friend who constantly questioned my decisions. At first, I explained, but it never helped. Then I stopped, just said no, and left it there. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste time debating what a good man should be. Be one. Act with quiet certainty, and you shut the door on their control." What if you stopped explaining and let your actions speak? Fifth, succeed in silence. Nothing unsettles a narcissist more than success. They can't manipulate. I worked with someone who mocked my every small victory, so I stopped sharing them. I focused on my work, letting results speak for themselves. Over time, they grew restless, with nothing left to attack. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. Build in silence. Let progress be your response." What if you stopped proving yourself and became untouchable? Understand a narcissist's behavior without getting entangled. I worked with someone who thrived on conflict. Instead of reacting, I studied their actions, learning more about human nature than any book could teach. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." When you see them as a lesson, not a threat, their power over you fades. Can you observe without being pulled in? That's where true freedom begins. Sixth, Empathize without attachment. You can understand their pain without falling into their traps. I once had a colleague whose chaos was a cry for control. By observing, not engaging, I stayed free while seeing their struggle clearly. Marcus Aurelius said, "Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. Choose freedom over their control." Seventh, walk away and never look back. Sometimes, victory lies in leaving. I saw a friend trapped in a cycle of manipulation, hoping for change that never came. The day he walked away, he reclaimed his peace. Stoicism teaches that true strength is mastering yourself, not others. These 7 strategies aren't about revenge, they're about liberation. Each step pulls you out of their grasp and back to your inner strength. When you stop playing their game, you rise above. Choose clarity over chaos. Are you ready to reclaim your power and live untouchable? Share your thoughts and start today.